Hey crafters, this is Nye here. So today what we are going to do is we are going to assemble our layered pig barbecue gift card holder. So I'm going to be using my art glitter glue here for all of my gluing. I also have my tweezers handy. You're definitely going to want them today because we've got a lot of tiny pieces. And I also have my bone folder handy as well. Okay. So first up, you can see I've got all of my pieces here. I have them stacked in the order for gluing. I have this kind of like rectangle piece here. This is what we're going to use at the back to hold our gift card. And then I've got my large piece here that is going to be my envelope. So I'm going to put these two off to the side. And then in order to start, what we are going to do is we're going to start here with all of our pieces. Now, before we really dig into gluing down a lot of the bigger pieces, we're going to first work with some of the smaller ones here. So as you can see, I'm going to grab this hat here, and I've got this piece here that is the band of the hat, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add my glue here right along the back of this little band to the hat. And you could go ahead and make this band and the apron any color that you want. Like, don't feel free to, make it red just like how I did, but feel free to make it whatever color it is that you want. All right, so I'm going to put this one off to the side because that's good to go. The next piece that I'm going to work on here are his hoofs. So I'm going to grab these three pieces here. And so you can see I'm also being really careful as I move the pieces because I don't want everything to completely shift on me. I'm going to add a little dab of glue right there everywhere. And then I'm going to grab my push pin. And this is what I use to clog my glue when I'm not using it, so it doesn't dry out. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to poke the hoof print there, or the hoof, and I'm just going to press it down right on top there. I'm going to do that for all three of these little pieces here to his hoof, and just pressing them down. I'm also going to grab this green piece here that's part of the pocket to the apron. I'm going to add glue to that as well. And I'm going to press that down too, kind of like right there in the center where it was. And now we're going to do the face here. And the face is going to be really, really hard. If you had a hard time kind of cutting these, if you cut them once and you lost them, don't worry. This will be one where if you want, you could just draw on the face with a Sharpie. Like, it'll be okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move some of these out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add a little dab of glue for the eyes right there. And again, I'm going to use my push pin just to pick this up and press it down. You do want to make sure that you've got the orientation here going so that it's not like on its side, but that the eye is kind of up right there. Okay, and for the eyebrows, and these were really, really hard to cut. When I had cut them out, they actually kind of got stuck to my paper, and I kind of had to go through and just pluck them out with my fingers there. And so I'm doing the same thing here. Is I'm just grabbing the piece with my push pin and I'm just pressing it down. Okay, and again, if you lost these, if it frustrated you, don't worry about it. You don't have to have it. You could just use like a fine Sharpie and draw them on. That would work completely fine. So I'm going to do the same thing here now with some of these other pieces here. I'm going to do the cheeks and also the mouth. And so I forgot the mouth part here. So let's just go ahead and kind of put that there like that. And then I'm going to just press it down. And this one I'm going to leave on its side, so that way it kind of looks like it's spread out a little. And I'm going to grab the mouth right there, and again, just press that down. All right, so now we've got the nose piece, and this one's the biggest one, so it's a little easier to work. I'm going to put this off there to the side, those little nostril pieces. Add a little bit of glue to the back of that. And then I'm going to press this down right there in the center. And so you can also see that everything is kind of going on an angle as well when you're gluing this down. You don't want everything to be like straight up and down because his head's kind of tilted as well. And so his facial expression and his facial features should also be tilted. All right, so I'm using my push pin one more time to just glue these down. And that's it for his face, okay? So let's go ahead now and let's work on the plate that he's holding. Let's push those off to the side. And again, we're going to glue these down by just kind of adding glue to everywhere at the back. And like I said, this is one where it's a lot of paper piecing together here. We used a lot of scraps to cut it out. And now we're just going to take those scraps and glue them all down. And this is time consuming because all the pieces are so tiny, and you know, it's going to take some time to get them down here. All right, so I've got these hot dogs here. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue again here to the back. And if you want, you might want to grab a second tweezers here in order to get this lined up just right. All right. And then remember that you can shift things to move it into that right position before the glue dries. Once it dries, then it's stuck unless you recut it. All right, so I added glue to the back of that, and then I'm just gonna press these hot dogs right down here onto the plate. Okay, so we're almost done. We have the spatula to work with. So I pulled that out underneath, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add glue to the back of this spatula piece here. And then I'm going to press it down. And again, like I said, this is one where you might wanna have 2 tweezers handy, one for each hand as you are layering it down. So I've got that there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue right here to where the handle is. And I'm also taking into account for the little hole in the handle. So make sure that you take that into account when you add it there, okay? All right, so I'm gonna take my wording, I'm gonna pull this off to the side, and before we start gluing everything down, or I should say, before I glue the spatula down, I'm gonna put that one off to the side because it's actually going to sit underneath his hand. But as we layer everything together, we need to take that into account. And I don't wanna glue it down yet because I know I still have to glue things down here, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab all of the pieces here to my pig. I'm going to lift him up, and I'm going to work with these 2 bottom pieces that are identical. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it here between my fingers, and I'm going to add glue everywhere here to the back, okay? And you'll notice there's lots of like little fine pieces, or I should say little thin strips of paper. Whoops, I almost lost the whole thing. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take our time and just kind of add little dabs here. I'm not even squeezing my glue, but what I'm doing is I'm just kind of taking the glue that's kind of leaking from the sides here, and I'm just pressing it down. I'm going to do the same thing here with the bow at the back. And this is one where it could have easily ripped on your mat as you were taking it off. And then when we're ready to glue it down, I'm gonna hold the bottom piece in my hand, and I'm gonna use my hand as my guide to make sure that I get it all lined up correctly. And so you can see by just doing that, I can keep everything right there into the right position. And then when I go to glue the bow here at the back, I'm just pressing that down really quick, okay? And it'll line right up perfectly on that spot. Okay. So once we have that, now we're gonna kind of be ready to glue down most of our piggy here. And again, we're gonna do the same thing here, especially with the bow. The bow at the back where his, the straps there to his apron are tied. And again, I'm going to hold it here between my finger. And now for this one, you're gonna want to make sure that you have most of the pig here in between your hands, and then you're also just going to line him up right there, okay? And so you can see, and then again, you can shift the paper if you need to, and there we go. All right, so now for the red part, which is going to be his apron, we are again Going to add glue there, and again, take into account that bow, which just needs a little bit of glue there. And then we're going to press this down as well. Now you'll realize too that this one doesn't line up as easily because you have to take into account that it doesn't go all the way down, okay? And then just press everything down. Okay, now this is where we're going to line up our spatula, okay? And there was a little piece of spare right there. What I'm going to do again is I'm just going to add glue here now to the back of my spatula. And then I'm going to line it up right here across on his apron where you can see that it fits, okay? And that looks great, all right? And so now we can go ahead and we can glue down where his arm is going to rest right on top, okay? And you'll notice that this part of him is a different shade of pink, all right? And it matches the circle pieces that were part of his facial features. And the reason why we did that is so that way it would be distinguishable, that it wouldn't blend in as easily or as much. And so we would be able to kind of tell, and especially because this is part of his ears where, I just had to make sure that was lining up. It's part of his ears, like the inner part of his ears that are a different color. And I think I just had some glue seeping there, and that's okay because I just picked it up and grabbed it there. And so now we're going to do his face. And so this is why it was easiest for us to start with, his facial features and get those glued down first. So that way, there we go. So that way we didn't lose those pieces as we were gluing everything down here. All right, so what we have left now is his hat. And then we're just gonna glue that down as well. And there we go. That looks awesome, okay? All right, so the next thing that we need to do is glue down our wording and then glue down our piggy to the paper, okay? And what we're going to do is you kind of want to make sure that you get it a little bit lined up first, okay? So you've got the wording to this part, and then you're just going to put like your piggy right about there. And if you need to, you can move your wording up a little bit higher, so that way his tail and the bow at the back kind of fit in right between where the U and the T are to the word outside. All right, so I'm going to put that right about there. And I'm going to put that one right about there too. And then I'm going to glue my piggy down first. All right. So again, when you go to glue this part, just go ahead, add glue everywhere here to the back. You do kind of want to make sure too that you are getting, again, where his tail is and the bow. You also want to make sure you're getting part of the grill too. And then when you go to press it down, you want it to kind of line up right in between the curve here and just right there, and then just press everything down, and that looks great. And if you have any glue seeping like right here, just go ahead and kind of dab that away. And whoops, there we go. Okay, and now for the wording, again, you can hold this here with your tweezers and then just go ahead and add glue everywhere to where the wording is, okay? And you just kind of want to make sure that you're getting everywhere with the wording here, because you don't want any part of the wording to accidentally come up. So I'm going to get over here by that. And I'm going to grab my other tweezers, which are not here. So I will turn mine this way, and I will make sure that it just kind of lines up right about there. Okay, so that looks good. Kind of cute, right? I really love it. Okay, all right. So when you have him all glued down here, the next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead onto the back here, flip it over, and we want to go ahead and we want to glue down this backing part here. Okay, so you want to make sure that the rectangle will fit all the way across. Hopefully you guys can tell because it's actually the same color, so it's really blending in here. But all we're going to do is we're just going to add glue kind of towards along the outside here. And we're just going to kind of give it a little bit of a border glue there. And then we're going to, again, just press it down right here at the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to leave this like that for just a moment. And let's put together our envelope, and then we'll add our gift card at the very end after it dries. Okay, so we have this piece, which is our envelope. You can see all of the score lines here. All we're going to do is just fold right on all of those score lines. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just press down to make sure that I get all of those score lines very sharp and crisp. So you can see it there. And you can see this side right there. Again, like I said, I'm just using my bone folder to make sure that the lines here are crisp. Okay, and then once I have it there, you can see we're gonna fold these two flaps on the inside, and then we can go ahead and we'll be able to glue it and press it down. And so, oh, I just gave myself a paper cut. All we're gonna do right there is just press it down. See, that's what happens. Hopefully I don't start bleeding while I'm making the video. All right, so all we're gonna do now is we're just gonna add glue right here to where the flap is. And then again, we're just going to press it down right there. I'm going to use my bone folder just to make sure that it is perfectly sealed there. All right, that looks good. And you can see it right there. You see the opening. Okay, so back to our holder here. All we're going to do now is we're going to take our gift card, and then we can just slide it right there into the back. And that looks great. And then we can go ahead and we can place it inside our envelope, and we can seal it off, and we can mail it there. Okay. So it's perfect. You would just use double-sided tape to seal it if you want, and then you could go ahead and mail it. You might need an extra stamp because it's a little irregular if you're going to mail it. And you could also just give this out to dad for Father's Day, or to a coworker, a brother, a nephew. Lots of options for this one, okay? To the guy in your life who loves to grill, okay? All right, so please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you have fun crafting one for yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye.